Today we're tackling Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is a source you shared, and it's huge, genuinely one of the most talked about personal finance books out there. Especially, it seems, for people just starting to figure out money management, investing, that kind of thing. So our mission today, let's unpack its core messages, understand its impact, without getting bogged down in too much detail.
Yeah, and what really hooks people, I think, is Kiyosaki's story. He frames everything through his experience with two dads. His rich dad, that was his friend's father, savvy entrepreneur, and then his poor dad, his actual father, highly educated but financially struggling. So we're going to look at how this whole narrative structure delivers these financial lessons that really fundamentally challenge how most people think about money.
Okay, let's dive right in then. We'll explore what the book does well, definitely where the critics have issues, and crucially, what you can actually take away from it all. So let's kick off with its biggest strength, maybe. That mindset shift it creates. I mean, think about it. How many of us are just programmed with that standard path? School, job, save. How does Kiyosaki shake that up?
Well, he really pushes readers to think beyond just earning a paycheck. It's all about financial independence, achieved through things like investing, maybe starting a business, building passive income streams,
Yeah.
Money or assets make for you.
Right, not just trading hours for dollars.
Exactly. And for someone new to all this, that shift is, well, it's massive. It just opens your eyes to different ways of building wealth. It makes you question those core assumptions.
And it manages this using really simple language, doesn't it? You don't need an MBA to get what he's saying.
Absolutely. That accessibility is key. It means the core concepts really land, like that central idea. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. That sticks. And then there's the critical distinction between assets and liabilities. He hammers this home.
Okay, define those again in his terms.
Simple. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. It's the foundation of his whole philosophy, and honestly, it's kind of counterintuitive for a lot of people at first.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So this focus on financial self-education and maybe taking a path outside the normal 9 to 5, that's where it really connects.
I think so. It genuinely motivates people. It makes them want to learn more about investing, about building wealth differently. It can really spark a change in how you see your whole financial future.
Okay, but like any really influential book, it's got its critics. We need to look at the other side of the coin here if we're doing a proper deep dive. So what are the main criticisms? Where does the book fall short according to some?
Well, a big one is the lack of concrete strategies, specific steps. It's much more about the why and the mindset, the philosophy, rather than the practical how-to.
So lots of inspiration, but maybe not a detailed roadmap.
Pretty much. If you're looking for, say, a step-by-step guide to setting up a budget or analyzing a stock, you won't really find it here.
And what about the stories themselves, the whole rich dad figure? There's always been that question, hasn't there? Did he actually exist, or is it more of a parable? Does that distinction even matter?
That's a really interesting debate. Kiyosaki maintains he's real, but critics point out inconsistencies, lack of proof. Some argue it feels more like a composite character or, a parable to illustrate points. Does it matter? Well, maybe. If you're looking for a factual memoir, it might bother you. If you're focused on the lessons the rich dad character represents, perhaps less so.
But it ties into another criticism, right? The idea of oversimplification.
Exactly. That comes up a lot. Complex financial topics, real estate, taxes, starting businesses, they sometimes get boiled down to very simple rules or anecdotes.
Which makes it accessible.
But potentially misleading. It's a double-edged sword, Inspiring, yes, but maybe lacking the necessary nuance for the real, messy world of finance. Does making it simple sometimes make it too simple? That's the question.
And he definitely encourages taking risks, doesn't he? Especially with things like entrepreneurship and real estate. Does he adequately cover the downsides, the potential for things to go wrong?
That's another point critics often raise. There's a lot of emphasis on the potential rewards of taking big risks, maybe less on the very real possibility of failure or significant financial loss.
So it could be seen as maybe a bit unbalanced in that regard.
Possibly. It's sort of fascinating, isn't it? The book's greatest strengths, that simplicity, that inspiration, can also be seen as its weaknesses if you don't supplement it with, more detailed, cautious advice. It lights a fire, definitely, but doesn't always give you the fire safety manual.
Got it. Okay, so let's try and pull this together. What are the absolute must-know takeaways from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Okay, 3 core things, I'd say. First, don't just rely on your job. Actively build assets. That's huge. Second, Financial education, learning about money yourself, is crucial for building wealth, maybe even more than traditional schooling, he argues.
Mm-hmm.
And third, the big one, buy assets, things that generate income. Avoid liabilities, things that cost you money. Understand that difference.
So, wrapping it up, what's our verdict for you, the listener? We're giving Rich Dad, Poor Dad a, let's say, 7.5 out of 10. It's a fantastic starting point if you want to fundamentally change how you think about money, a real catalyst.
But echoing the source material itself, it absolutely should not be the only book you read on finance. Think of it as the appetizer, maybe. You need to follow it up with the main courses, detailed guides on, practical budgeting, actual investment strategies, proper financial planning.
Right. It opens the door, but you need other guides to walk through it. So there we have it, our deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We've pulled out those key nuggets, hopefully giving you that shortcut to being really well informed about this very influential book. So the final thought to leave you with, building on all this, given that it's a great starting point, but not the whole picture, what's the very next step you might take? What's your next move to build on this foundation and further your own financial education?
Yeah, that's the key question. It really highlights the need for continuous learning, for critical thinking, especially when it comes to your finances. It doesn't stop here.
Absolutely. That's all for this deep dive.